that you can join me today as we sit here talking about Theoretical Thursdays. And this is this is going to be one of those days I'm going to just have way too much fun. And the reason why is because of the fact that for me, one of the things I want to do with you as we go through this day and we go through these topics. My name is Watts Prunier. I'm the host of Battle for Freedom on Mojo5 Radio. Sorry, just get my brain together here as we sit here talking about all things theoretical and all things that really matter here on Mojo5 Radio. Again, I'm your host, Watson Prunier. I'm just honored and glad to be a part of this as we sit here talking about this. Let's do me a favor. Let's start this off with some coffee so I can get my brain up and running because of the fact that I don't know if I'm fully awake yet. APR Coffee, check this out.
That's it. I've hit the snooze button a dozen times and now I have to finally get going. But I'm not going to do this day right if I don't start it off with a cup of American Pride Roasters coffee, the official coffee of Mojo5 Radio. But I'm not going to lie to you. They have a wide variety of blends, but I'm leaning towards the one that's named after me, Watson's White Chocolate Caramel. You know what? It sounds as good as those words that just rolled off of my mouth. Listen, get it today. AmericanPrideRoasters.com. Tell them that Watson from Battle for Freedom sent you, and you want Watson's White Chocolate Caramel blend to start your day off. Join American Pride Roasters Coffee and Mojo5 Radio, and most important, Battle for Freedom, as we celebrate the best coffee in the nation. American Pride Roasters.
Yes, American Pride Roasters Coffee. You get your day started off correctly when you do work with that, but I also want you to do me a favor. I want you to get your day started off with some New Life Holistic. Sorry, my brain. I need a session right now with New Life Holistic.
Does your mind seem like it often shuts down before it even starts? Sounds like you need to detox to improve your health in body, mind, and spirit. I'd like to tell you about New Life Holistic. It is an amazing therapy process that uses neurofeedback and biofeedback for many issues that ails everyone. New Life's method and approach to health, balance, energy, and vitality is what sets it apart from anything you have experienced ever before. Call 1-833-4-BIO-LIFE and tell them Watson from Battle for Freedom had sent you. One more thing. Give them the code MOJO50 and save $50 off of your first session. The consult is free. New Life Holistic.
New Life Holistic. This is what you want to do when you can't get your brain working right, whether it's early in the morning or even late in the afternoon when you just need to get rocking and rolling. If you want to interact, go to facebook.com/Mojo50 Radio. And this is the way that you get the information in and you exactly know where I'm coming from. And you can leave a message and I'll do the best that I can to respond to anything that you had to say in the middle of this broadcast. So, Theoretical Thursdays. Honestly, to tell you the truth, with going through finishing at the book of Genesis yesterday on Wednesdays, because Wednesdays is when I spend in the Word, I find it really difficult to come off on a broadcast immediately after really getting into a wonderful Bible study as I zip through 38 chapters of the book of Genesis to complete out that as we're doing. Now, mind you, I think I'm going to start the process off as an overview of books of the Bible, talk about the chapters, but I also I'm asking you, if you have any questions about the Bible, get them to me. Get them to me and we can try and see if we can ask, I'll try and answer them as we go through books, as we go through topics, as Wednesday is a midweek Bible study because I enjoy talking about it. And so I felt kind of weird getting back into the news and talking about these other different things. And honestly, to tell you the truth, it just didn't seem like it mattered compared to everything else, as big, as powerful, as important as the Word of God is. I'm just like, daily news. Yeah, some of the things are pretty cool. Some of the things are really interesting and everything like that. However, does it really match up? Does it really match up to the Word of God as I sit here just so appreciative of the life? Every last one of us given another day to sit here, celebrate God, celebrate life, pray that the good will be done and that justice will prevail. I think common sense will also prevail. More so, justice can't prevail if common sense is thrown out the door. Justice can't prevail if common sense is thrown out the door. That's the reason why when I sit here and I talk to you about what's going on with Theoretical Thursdays, it's because of the fact that I'm just going to give you my theory on the subject, on the matter that we're talking about, and from there, we will then move on to whether or not we believe that anything is going to manifest from it as a result of me talking about that, or the fact that it's in the news. Because honestly, to tell you the truth, with as much data that's in the news, as much information that we have to put people under the jail, not just on speculation, not just on hearsay, but data that puts people under the jail. And here it is, we're looking at this. Like, let me go back to one that I thought was really interesting. You remember the situation when Anthony Weiner, and he had the laptop and he was sexting and it was all these other different things. He had child porn on his laptop. There are people who go to jail for decades for having child porn. I mean, first-time offenders. You have teachers who sleep with their students and they go to jail for a long time. Anthony Weiner went to jail for 2 years. 2 years! If he was not connected to Huma Abedin, who's connected to Hillary Clinton, who's connected to the network of corrupt individuals, he would never see the light of day. I mean, for crying out loud, Bill Cosby is spending the rest of his life in jail. Anthony Weiner, 2 years. So Theoretical Thursdays is really going to be whether or not I believe that something's going to manifest as a result of the topic that I'm talking to you about. Whether or not anything's going to happen, or are we just going to see nothing but nonsense and lies? Good morning, Jill and Josh and Sarah. Thank you for joining and being part of the program here. Some days I sit here and I wonder, why do we even bother? Why do we even say anything? Why do we even complain? Why do we even bring up the stuff if nothing is ever going to change? I don't know. It's just sometimes working your way through the subjects. I think that's probably the thing is that they get us to the point that we give up on hoping that the right thing will be done so that they can just continue to do whatever they want. I mean, it's not like people are trying to hide the evil anymore. They're not trying to hide it. They continue and they do everything that they can to ruin the lives of individuals, ruin your spirit, ruin your temperament, to want to fight back, and then until the point that you're lulled into compliance, and there you are, you're going along with it. I think that's the reason why the church has suffered so much, is because the church has been attacked so long. And sometimes it's just the threat of attack. Sometimes it's just the threat. And the way that the society has come down, clamping down on the church, a lot of people in the church, they've given up and they don't want to do anything. It's just the way things happen. It's just the way things happen. And that's life. We're going to move on from it. Let's look at the very first story that I'm just really skeptical on this. So it talks about the whole idea of Portland police chief tells protesters to put down their weapons as armed activists set up an autonomous zone protected by booby traps to protest eviction of black family as violent crime spikes in the neighborhood. So here we have another Chaz Chop zone. So if you want to laugh about this, Gene Beardelli has this website called Buffoon of the Week. You need to go check out Buffoon of the Week. I'm going to try and have him on next week, because this week has just been crazy with work and working late yesterday, and I have another couple of late nights of work that I need to get done here. But buffoonoftheweek.com, check it out, because of the fact that he has what is it called? Not a grid, bracket system of who are the buffoons of the week and the year. And Ted Wheeler is among. You have Ted Wheeler, and you have Bill de Blasio, many of these different people who are buffoons because of the poor decisions that they've made. And check it out, and just tell him that Watson sent you, so you can check out what he's talking about. But here it is. We have more autonomous zones showing up. See, you have to understand that this autonomous zone, while nothing happened to the people who set up the terrorists who took over a community, who took over streets and people died, nothing happened from that. Nothing happened from that. So you know what? The people who live in that community, you know who they voted for? the Democrats. They voted for the progressives. They voted for insanity to make certain that whoever's running the chop zones, whoever allows the chop zones to exist, whoever allows the looters to continue to exist, we're going to vote for them because these are the people who are just sending a clear threat to American citizens. So here it is, if the black family is being evicted. I don't know why they're being evicted. I don't think the reason why they're being evicted is what really matters. What matters is that nothing is going to happen to these people who have their weapons. Nothing's going to happen. Well, people are going to say, well, isn't this like the Bundy Ranch thing? Because everybody has to go to the Bundy Ranch thing. Everybody has to go to the Bundy Ranch thing. Where you don't realize is that there's a difference between what happened with Bundy and what's happening in these cities. They didn't set up a city. They were stopping the government from doing something wrong here. Again, I don't know the full story as to the eviction notice here, especially given the fact that you had cities, states, mayors, and governors who basically decided to say that they're going to, and it wasn't an executive order by the president to halt evictions, halt, rent payments and everything like that for 6 months, several months. Now, in the middle of this, I think a lot of people have come under the impression that, this halt of these payments for mortgage payments and everything like that, that they didn't have to pay, that they wouldn't get 6 months free. No, they were delaying the payments by 6 months, giving people a chance to kind of recover because you're still going to have to make those payments. You're just now spending an extra 6 months to, pay things back. And if you live in an apartment, if you're leasing or whatever, and you're still under a contract period of time, you know what? I'm hoping that, in the process of you going through this, you didn't think that you weren't going to be obligated to make those payments. You still have to pay. But here it is. We're going to see a whole lot more. I don't think this is going to be the only chop zone. This is not going to be the only autonomous zone that's going to go along in America within the next several months. And honestly, under a Biden administration, it'd be very interesting to see how many of those go up and how quickly our cities devolve because of the fact that, you have a paper tiger in the office. You have a paper tiger. Here was another one I saw that was really interesting. Hunter Biden says federal investigation into taxes. Theoretical Thursdays. I want to make it turbulent Tuesdays and theoretical Thursdays. This whole idea that it's laughable that prosecutors, Joe Biden says he's proud of Hunter after federal prosecutors' tax probe is revealed into his son's controversial Chinese business dealings after being paused in case it affected the election. See, this is the thing about it. There was no pause in investigating Donald Trump. There was no pause in exposing everything out there, whether it was Stormy Daniels or 15 different women who were accusing him of rape and everything like that. There was no pause. See, you have to understand, everybody kept talking about the whole ideas. They're like, oh, well, Barr's in here. Hillary's finally going to jail and everything like that. Oh, this is really good. We're going to finally see her go to jail. No, everybody kept hoping this was going to happen. It wasn't going to happen. Hillary was not going to go to jail. Do you recognize this? Hillary wasn't going to jail. None of them are. None of the abusers on both sides of the aisle who have been corrupt, they've been career politicians, they have been fleecing the American people through their taxes and backdoor dealings. None of them are going to jail. Even the ones who commit murder, who conveniently have 67, 80, 90, 100 convenient friends who die in the most inexplicable ways and never gets interviewed at all. Everybody keeps sitting here thinking, oh, something's going to happen. A tax probe? A tax probe into Hunter Biden? The FBI is sitting here beating down the doors of a woman who allegedly hacked a system for COVID in Florida, but a tax probe? We had General Flynn attacked, and now he's set free. But we have all these people from the Obama administration in Obamagate. Tax probe? See, this is the reason why a lot of you sit there and we lose hope. We lose hope because I finally realized the reason why you have these weak-kneed attacks against corruption is because of the fact that most of the people who are involved in doing this stuff, they're corrupt themselves. They are corrupt themselves, and this is the reason why we're put in this position. That we have to wait for or hope or expect that something's going to change, something's going to go different. It's not. Ah, Lord Jesus. And you sit here and you wonder why. I mean, everybody was really excited. You thought that Hillary was going to jail. You thought all these different things was going to happen. Nothing's going to happen here. Here's another one that really gets me because of the fact that now that it's happening here after the election, after all these other different things, I think this one is the biggest joke. How many of you have heard about the idea of this is doomsday for Facebook? FTC in 46 states lost massive lawsuit against social media group for predatory and monopolistic behavior that could force it to sell Instagram and WhatsApp. Really? You're waiting till after the election, after they have all this power to be, and now as they're going on full throttle on censoring people, that you're going to start stripping this company away now? I saw that, and I was just like, even a couple of weeks ago when Ted Cruz, or a few weeks ago when Ted Cruz was maligning Jack Dorsey and Mark Zuckerberg on the way that they censored people and everything like that. Everybody's like, oh, look, Ted Cruz really handed it to him. And I'm just sitting there yawning because I'm like, nothing's going to happen. Nothing is going to happen. We've been waiting years and years for something to take place, and it won't. It won't take place anytime soon because of the fact that there is nothing but lies, deceptions. What was it? Sex, what was it, the movie, nothing's going to happen. Sex, lies, and videotapes. Good morning, everyone, as you're part of this. I don't know why it wouldn't let me see the comments of what was going on here. Corruption leads to more corruption. Yes, you're right, Sarah. Corruption leads to more corruption. Yes. Yeah, that's a good one, Mitchell. Too many people are trusting too much in the government, but all need to be trusting in God's timing. That's right. Because here's my thing about it is, as we sit here and we're looking at this, nothing's happening to Facebook. Facebook isn't going to be torn down. You want to know actually the people who actually get things done, which is really strange because it's so terroristic, the way that they do things, is when you look at the EU and how EU will force Microsoft and Apple to concede and Google, and there's a lot of craziness that goes on in the European Union. That they get a lot of things done where they invade into the privacies of these giants, these tech companies, these big companies, that they have to yield and do what they say. And so as I sit here watching this thing, I'm sitting here wondering, I'm like, so do we really want that level of control? I mean, as much as I don't like the censorship of Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, WhatsApp, and all these other different ones, as much as I don't like them, I'm more terrified of a government going in and telling these businesses what they should do. Do you realize that? Because the moment that we empower, the moment we demand that the government shut down Facebook, shut down all these different things, what stops them from shutting us down? Be careful of how much power you want to give the government, because look at how drunk they are with power right now. Look how drunk they are with power and how they are violating the rights of a lot of people. Sarah says she lives outside of Portland and they are nutty. I almost moved to Portland, Oregon. Back in 92, 93. I was like, oh, this looks like a decent place to move to. Actually, it's Milwaukee, Oregon. Actually, it wasn't going to be Portland, Oregon. I was going to move to Milwaukee, Oregon. And that's with an IE instead of an EE. Well, you sit here and you watch this, nothing's going to happen with Facebook. Nothing's going to happen with Instagram. I watch people trying to figure out what do they want to do. Do I want to be on Parler? Do I want to be on MeWe? Do I want to be on, Gab? Or I struggle here because of the fact that people believe that if I just stay on Facebook, I'm going to force their hands and they're not going to squash me. But they are. They are squashing. See, everybody feels like I've got to be on Facebook because of the fact that I'm going to stay here and I'm going to make. No, they continue to squash you. They continue to squash you. I'm really mixed on whether should I stay or should I go? Because of the fact that honestly, does it really matter? Does it really matter? Honestly, for those of you who follow Facebook, who follow Mojo50 Radio, who follow the Battle for Freedom, I really appreciate you doing this. If you go to mojo50.com, mojo50.com, and you sign up, you can create an account on mojo50.com, and basically you can sometimes watch. Oftentimes, if I'm doing airing and you can watch this on video, you can watch the video of this. So if you don't want to connect to Facebook anymore, if you get tired of Facebook and you want to watch Battle for Freedom, you can watch it on YouTube. But if you're tired of YouTube, go to mojo50.com. Sign up. They're not going to spam you. They'll let you know when new hosts come on. They'll let you know when new programs on that you might want to check out. But you can go to Mojo50 TV and watch the broadcast there, or you can listen to the audio there, or you can just listen to it on Apple iTunes or on iHeartRadio or on Spreaker app. If you have those different things, if you need the visual encounter, just stay with Facebook or YouTube, but better more than anything else, go to Mojo50 TV and go from there. Because of the fact that this makes things a lot easier for you when you get really tired of a lot of the drama that happens because of social media. But honestly, to tell you the truth, I don't think anything's going to happen to the social media giants. They're not going to be spread apart. Everybody keeps thinking this is going to be something like AT&T. This is going to be something like AT&T and oh my goodness, what was it when was it Bell Atlantic when they split them apart? And you started making you took the telephone giants and you made them a little bit smaller. Everybody keeps thinking about that stuff in the past and how those businesses were affected, and keep hoping that that's going to happen again. It's not. I mean, you see the number of companies that are actually consolidating. They're consolidating. They're not getting small. They're not getting smaller. They're getting bigger. They're buying. They're not just even consolidating. These companies are expanding by buying more and more and more businesses and building up their empires. There are a lot of these businesses doing this, and there's no government slowing them down. Airlines coming together, phone companies coming together. You name it. It doesn't matter. So when I sit here and I watch this, everybody's hoping things are going to happen to Facebook. People hoping that this is going to be stuck to Facebook. I'm just letting you know, bupkis. Nothing is going to happen. Nothing is going to happen. And it's really sad because of the fact that as long as the media has support of a progressive arm of corrupt individuals, they will continue to shut down the truth. They will continue to shut down any news that really needs to matter, that needs to affect American people. Just like this. Tax on Hunter Biden? His taxes? Come on, man. This is the biggest joke. And also, while you're there at mojo50.com, do me a favor, go to the shop. There's a lot of 2020 things that you could pick up from Mojo50 Radio just to close this year out on a bang. Because it just seems like this year keeps banging. Well, if you want to bang out 2020 on a good note, go to mojo50.com/shop, pick up some 2020 ta-da stuff, and let them know that Watson from Battle for Freedom sent you. Let's go to a break, folks, and I'll talk to you with Theoretical Thursdays on the flip side. From COVID to lockdowns, to riots, to elections, 2020 has been nothing but a constant withdrawal for people around the world, and especially the United States, is not only the mental and spiritual withdrawals, but the financial ones as well. Many businesses are closing their doors because of the lockdowns and no income. Sadly, many Americans are finding locks placed on the doors of their homes because of foreclosure due to the loss of income from extreme lockdown measures. Total Money Makeover does not prevent the pain. It attempts to proactively mitigate in the risk of financial failure because of these uncertain times. Budgeting is more essential now than you ever could imagine. Now is the time to make certain our finances are in order. Consider ordering Total Money Makeover by Dave Ramsey today. It is essential. Triggering change one heartbeat at a time. That is the purpose of Battle for Freedom. My biggest challenge is helping people see that they are constantly moving and never settled. They are not settled in life because they are spiritually and mentally homeless. James Otis wrote the following on the writs of assistance in 1761. One of the most essential branches of English liberty is the freedom of one's house. A man's house is his castle. I host Battle for Freedom on Mojo 50 Radio at 7 a.m. Monday through Friday for this very reason. Our homes are tattered because we have made too many allegiances to ideologies and movements solely created to keep us distracted, divided, and distanced from our foundation. Join me on Battle for Freedom, where I trigger change one heartbeat at a time. Battle for Freedom. Welcome back, everyone. This is Watson Prunay from Battle for Freedom and Mojo 50 Radio. I appreciate every last one of you who are listening right now and you're following as we sit here, just getting into the whole idea of Theoretical Thursdays, December 2020. Because I think I want to try and start doing this throughout the year. Just take a Theoretical Thursday and just say, hey, what's the theory on this thing? Do you really think anything's going to happen on it? Or you think we're just screwed over and nothing's going to become of it, and we're going to be lied to, we're going to be deceived on this? You know what? This is really key as we sit here. I want you to listen to one of our other sponsors, Patriot Energy.
Are your energy bills getting out of hand and you want more control of your expenses? Consider Patriot Energy, a local veteran-owned solar company. You need honesty, integrity, and clarity. These markers are essential in the ever-growing solar industry. Call 602-721-6717 for a free quote. Tell them that Watson from Battle for Freedom sent you, and he's from Mojo 50 Radio. And that number again, 602-721-6717. Call Patriot Energy today.
Yes, call Patriot Energy today. Get your energy concerns addressed before it's too late. Listen, there's so many different things happening. 2020 has been insane. I think on a good note, I don't know if any of you heard about the planets lining up to on December 21st. I think December 21st, you can have so many people out to watch what this Christmas star is going to look like. So this is going to be very interesting. What's happening on this year. So that might be a really good ta-da, or maybe those planets coming together is not so much a Christmas star as is a meteor coming to take out this world. Oh, sorry to be doom and gloom on the craziness of everything going on, but you know what? Listen. Oh my goodness, it's just so crazy when you sit here and talk about just the things that won't be done. Here was one I thought that was really interesting, because no one talks about this stuff. For the longest time, I've always had, they always say serial killers. Serial killers are always crazy, bowl cut, whitehead little kids, whether they're mass shooters or, the likes of what is his name, Charles Manson and everything like that, or Ted Bundy. Is that his name, Ted Bundy? Either way, you have these different individuals who are mass killers. Well, there was a story about this one guy this serial killer. This guy is a monster. This guy is one of the faces of evil that you're surprised that they get on as long as they possibly can without really. I'm gonna show you something here of this person here, where it's really sad that we're finding out more and more that evil comes in all faces, all colors, and this idea of constantly thinking that it's only one race that's ruining or sullying the landscape of America. This gentleman right here, bring up this information here. Here it is. Serial killer, healthcare worker, 48 years old, so he's a year younger than me, accused of smothering 14 elderly women to death and robbing them, is charged with 3 more killings and is being investigated for 1,000 deaths and attacks. Billy Chemmermere, 48, indicted on capital murder charges in the deaths of Joyce Abramowitz and Doris Wasserman. Margaret White. This is a healthcare worker. See, this is the thing about it that really kills me on this, and no pun intended on this thing here. But what I don't understand is, we knew people like this were doing things like this for the longest time. People remain quiet for so long. It's monsters like this that you're looking at here, like this person right here. It's monsters like this that have been the arm of progressivism. They've been the arm. Understand this, that long before this man was killing people in nursing homes, in this healthcare worker, long before he was doing this, when he was killing these individuals in nursing homes, understand this, he was beating people, he was beating women, he was beating children. He was a visible, clear threat in his community. He was probably a drug dealer. He was probably a drug dealer or a pimp or something like that. But you know what? Don't let them spend. It's a victimless crime. Don't sit here and do that. Let him do whatever he wants to. We're not going to slow down what's going on here. You have to understand, the likes of this man, this monster, has killed well over possibly 1,000 individuals. Okay? His nature had been viewed and previewed by so many different people. The idea of 47 years in government, the nature of who Joe Biden is and was and will be, has been on full display for so long. Anyone saying that they're expecting anything different, or no, he'll be removed and Kamala Harris will be put in his position because you want the first female black president. This is all you guys want. We tell you about the dangers of what liberal progressivism looks like. But you allow these bullies, you allow these murderers, you allow these people to continue to walk the street and go unaccounted for. And there has to be a wake of 1,000 bodies for you to finally say, we're going to put you in prison. Why is he still breathing? Why is he still breathing? There's no, why in the world is he breathing when we have at least 14 women dead, now at least 13 that we know of, and near 1,000 more? Are you kidding me? But we're holding him up, we're feeding him, we're treating him good, we're giving him a life better than the people that he snuffed out? This is the reason why Theoretical Thursday, when I sit here and I tell you about nothing going to be done, is because of the fact that they don't do anything. They know the threats that are in the community. When you sit here and we find these Muslim terrorists that come into this country, they've been monitored by the FBI. They've been monitored by the FBI, by the alphabet agencies, and they're doing diddly squat. They're doing diddly squat. Oh, no. This is what they're doing. They're doing everything that they can to investigate the president and basically put him down and make certain that, the likes of him does not expose all the other corruption that's going on in this country. It's a crying shame. It's a crying shame. And it won't get any better. So the reason why this gentleman got away with this is because of the fact that there's no desire in ending the evil. There's a lot of hand waving going on. I always get that mixed up. Hand waving going on right now. Hey, we're doing something. We're not doing anything. Stop. No Clintons going to jail. No corrupt politicians going to jail. They're all going to get away, and we're the rest of us going to sit here wondering what in the world happened. I'll tell you what happened. We elected phonies. We elected liars. I mean, here you go again. Eric Swalwell. Let's get into this one. Eric Swalwell demands Eric Swalwell refuses to admit wrongdoing over top secret friendship with Chinese spy Fang Fang and demands probe into who leaked the story, as he refuses to stay if he slept with her. And she's still friends with his dad and brother. Now, mind you, it's not the fact that I've been caught up. It's just who leaked the information. Swalwell, you got some nerve talking about who leaked information. As much information has been leaked on the President of the United States of America, and you're happy to share all this information? Stuff has been leaked out about your coworkers on the other side of the aisle, as the homes, addresses of people who are in office are being compromised, and people are showing up at their homes, and you want to investigate who leaked the information about you? See, this is what I'm saying, is that do you recognize what's going on here? If you leak sensitive information against corrupt politicians, the politicians, they don't care about whether or not they were busted for what they were doing. They want to send a message that freedom of the press and that transparency is not to be rewarded. Actually, it's supposed to be punished. You're supposed to be penalized. This is the reason why when I sit here and say Theoretical Thursdays that nothing's going to happen, nothing's going to become of this with Eric Swalwell, because he's sending his threats out right now. I'm going to investigate who leaked the information, because you will never work again. You'll probably end up with some unique form of suicide like Jeffrey Epstein. Busted. I mean, wait, hold on a second. Didn't Nancy Pelosi, wasn't Nancy Pelosi or Dianne Feinstein also had interactions with at least 15, 20 years of Chinese nationalists who were spying on her and getting information? We never heard anything of that. Nothing became of that. And I'm going to calm down here because of the fact that it's just disgusting to consider that we believe. I mean, all these judges that Trump appointed, and they're shooting down even the Supreme Court, shooting down the issues with even the Supreme Court shooting down the apparent investigations into the corruption during this election. Folks, I mean, come on, common sense here. Joe Biden getting more votes than Barack Obama, and even the votes of Barack Obama now has to be questioned. We are now in a banana republic. We are now in the year 2020. Ta-da! We have now figured out a way to. We have just ushered in communism and socialism in 1 year through a fake pandemic. I'm not saying that people aren't dying. People are dying because of something has been unleashed on the world. And I don't think it's even COVID-19. I think it's something far more sinister. And we've compromised the health and safety of a lot of individuals. And nothing's going to come of it. Because right now, I was asked a couple of days ago by Dominic Izzo, who comes on 7 p.m. Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'll be joining him later tonight. You sit here and you watch this. He asked me the other day, why is God allowing this? Because people have to feel like they're winning. Evil has to feel like it's winning. And as long as they do that, they get comfortable in their sin. They get comfortable in their rebellion. They're not going to hide it. They're not going to give up. They're not going to stop breaking the law. They're not going to stop doing this. Why? Because of the fact that they have to feel like they're winning. And then God will pull the rug out from under them and show them who is the real winner, who is the one who's actually in control, who is in charge. So as we're sitting here hoping that a lot of this stuff will change and turn itself around, I don't think it will. Here you have Cuomo's office basically says bars and restaurants is the largest growing cluster of known COVID cases in New York, as the Big Apple braces for indoor dining to shut down due to rising hospitalizations. It's not because of the fact that you had all the rioting. It's not because of the fact that you had all the protesting. It's not because of the fact that you had people arm to arm, shoulder to shoulder, celebrating a quote-unquote Biden win. No, this is how the numbers spread, because you allowed all these people to congregate in a quote-unquote win from Biden, a quote-unquote win for democracy. That's how the numbers help, because remember, many businesses, many places were shut down, and the numbers were rising. The restaurants and all these other different places, they were closed, and the only thing the restaurants were doing was selling takeout, and the numbers were still rising. People weren't congregating in churches. People weren't getting together because of the fact that they were told to shut down, and the numbers kept rising. Come on now. Second wave, third wave. You kidding me? You didn't shut down the people rioting. You didn't shut down the people who were protesting George Floyd. That's how you actually had the spread consistently going on. But no. You're going to keep putting up all these false flags of what's really causing all these different problems. Here I am. I'm getting myself worked up again. You know what? This next story, because nothing's going to happen with these liars. Nothing's going to happen with these fake people. Nothing's going to happen. Nothing's going to change. We can pretty much just kiss our freedoms goodbye because of the fact that lies and deceptions. I want to show you something here. This one, this is still in New York. I want to stay there for a little bit because of the fact that this is just the nature of New York and everything that's going on here. Check this one out here, because this is a scary story. They say infestation, rat-size small cats forces closure of New York City Chipotle. #guac rat. Infestation of rodents the size of small cats forced closure of New York City Chipotle after they bite 4 employees and chomp avocados and electrical wiring. Rats the size of cats. See, the reason why the rats can get this big is because the corrupt officials in New York are grown and full and fat. The fat rats and fat cats in office. Fat rats and fat cats in office. This is what we're dealing with here as we sit here wondering why. And think about this: the city that never sleeps. It's been bad for decades. Don't get me wrong. When I was working in Manhattan in the mid 90s, I was watching the rats this size and bigger walking through the subways, walking through wherever. The rats have they're not trying to hide anymore, and they've bitten employees. And you think they knew these were the conditions. See, and a lot of you keep thinking, I need to stay in the big city. This is where I'm going to get my chance. This is where I'm going to get my opportunity. Move out of New York. Move out of these big cities. Move out of Indianapolis. If you're going to come to Indiana, I think there's a lot of great hope. There's a lot of great things you can do in Indiana, but it isn't in the big cities. Stay away from Indianapolis. Stay away from Indianapolis. Especially downtown Indianapolis. It's a false sense of security. Those rats you see in New York will soon be in New York. No. The government rats are already here in Indianapolis. The government rats are already here. The likes of an Andre Carson and the likes of so many more who are brought, and what is this, Hogsett. And in some cases, I believe even there's some rat-infested mentalities that even happen even with the governor, even with the Holcomb, trying to basically usurp power and threaten the safety and threaten the lives and freedoms of American citizens, Hoosiers in Indiana. But I think that this picture of this rat is only indicative of the people who are who are in government, who've become fat with power, fat with power, fat with power. They have indulged on our freedoms for far too long. Yeah, because of the fact that they're immune. They are immune. They've made themselves immune from any prosecution. You realize that who was it? Peter Schweitzer put a book, and I read it years ago. It's called "Throw Them All Out," and it talks about the whole idea of the. It talks about the corruption from both sides of the aisle that you have, where congressmen and women will turn around and they'll vote on bills that they have information on. That turns around and it affects us. If we did the things that they were doing, if we did the insider trading that they did, we'd be put under jail for the rest of our lives. These monsters, they can do whatever they want. And who investigates them? Oh, there's a congressional hearing that basically that someone in Congress investigates the people in Congress to make sure that the people in Congress are doing what they're supposed to do. Huh. Of course I'm not going to. If you ask me to investigate myself, if operating in my flesh and operating in the carnal desires of my heart, I'm not going to find anything wrong with me. So why in the world do we keep thinking that these politicians are going to sit there and put an end to the corruption from the media, from social media giants, from the regular TV, from the government? Why in the world are we thinking that this is going to change? Why? What makes you think that you're going to see any bit of honesty and transparency? We had the Barack Obama former administration saying that it's going to be the most transparent. It's going to be the most transparent administration in history. Yeah, Fast and Furious, IRS scandals, Benghazi, AP reporters being attacked and everything like that. Obamacare. If you like your plan, you can keep your plan. Scandal-free? Yeah, that comes from people who have pretty much had their heads up their butts for far too long, that all they see is brown and stink. Brown and stink, that's all they've been living in. The reason why I talk about immunity, because here it is. Check this out. You got to love this one. Putin rests easy because of the fact that politicians have now been given lifetime immunity. Check this out. Vlad breathes easy. Russian politicians approved lifetime immunity from prosecution for presidents following reforms announced by Putin. Draft legislation would expand Putin's immunity to cover his whole lifetime. It was part of a package of reforms to approve in the referendum last summer. The reforms would allow Putin, 68, to run for 2 more terms after 2024. He smells a rat. He smells a rat. Oh my goodness. You know this is coming for Democrats too, right? You know this is coming for Democrats as well. Oh my goodness. Lord help us. Lord help us. Yes, yes, Sarah. America is dead. 1776 to 2020. Wilfred Infinity is asking for where the virus trackers, the so-called virus trackers, they're not going to be anywhere to be found because of the fact that because it's all hand waving right now. Theoretical Thursdays. Okay. So Brad Staggs does this thing where they'll go through a bunch of different articles and stories to find out which one's fake. I'm pretty much doing this whole idea of, I'll tell you the different stories, but I'm letting you know that nothing is going to happen with it. No matter how severe, no matter how much data, how much information's in there, the fact that we have Joe Biden's son guilty, Joe Biden attached to China, Russia, Ukraine, Iran, You had this data before the election, and supposedly 80 million people voted for the most corrupt presidential candidate in the history of America. America is dead. Because of the fact that there is no way of shutting down the corruption. They're going to continue doing it. They're flaunting it. They don't care anymore. I mean, think about this. The number of Feinstein, Pelosi, Newsom, all busted without masks. Busted in hair salons, busted in airports, busted in restaurants, collaborating with people when they told everybody else you can't do anything. But you know what? People still voted for them. People still continue to vote for them. America is dead because of the fact that people, you hated Donald Trump so much. Donald Trump didn't do anything to you. Now, you got offended by his voice. You got offended by his mouth. You got offended by his tweets. You got offended by his hair. You got offended by his tan, his color, and the color of his skin, or too much color. You got offended by superficial things. Now, yes, the tweets sometimes can be shut down. Sometimes the rhetoric that he shares can be shut down, but it's nowhere near as offensive. It's nowhere near as downright criminal as what Democrats have been doing. And you sat there and you decided to hold your nose in the midst of being under 600 metric tons of crap that you've been swimming through. You literally have you were so far down in the crap tank with Democrat nonsense that's overwhelmed you that even though you have a rope to pull yourself out, the rope is still too slippery and you can't get a grip. But that one straw of air that goes all the way up to the top that's constantly feeding you air, the breath of life, the breath of Orange Man bad is all that gives you hope. And you know what you've done? You decided, instead of pulling myself out of the crap, instead of pulling myself out of the dung, instead of pulling myself out of the corruption of Democrats, I'm going to sit here just relaxed and at ease. And I'm just going to keep breathing through my Orange Man bad straw because I don't care anything about the corruption that I'm in. You are literally you're over your head filled with poop and dung and refuse and diarrhea and so much more. But you are content to sit there, not wearing a bodysuit, not wearing anything to cover you. You are in your glorious clothes, your church clothes, and you are still sucking on the Orange Man bad straw and covered in poop because that's all that matters. That's the reason why when I talk about Theoretical Thursdays, about nothing happening in the news, nothing happening in the in investigations, and nothing happening in America because we have far too many indignant people who are too proud to actually care. It's not even apathy. It's not even an indifference. It is, I think apathy and indifference are words too far kind for the level of just detachment that people have, or selective detachment and selective indignation. We are in such trouble that God will judge us. God will judge us. And America is collapsing, and it's collapsing really bad. And I'm praying that we put ourselves in a position where we are ready to hear the truth. There's a thing that's going on right now in Ohio that was kind of scary. It says a man is pulled alive from beneath. A man is alive, pulled from beneath rubble and rushed to the hospital as two others remain missing following a collapse at a closed power plant in Ohio. This occurred Tuesday morning. I don't know if you're aware about this, but it's in Adams County in Ohio. 3 people have been rushed to the hospital, including one who was pulled from beneath the rubble after being trapped for hours. 2 others remain unaccounted for, and the search continues. The power plant closed in 2017 and is in the process of being demolished. So, you sit here and you're trying to understand how is it, this was closed 3 years ago and is in the process of being demolished. How is it that they did not see this coming? I feel like that America, 2020 has been a crazy year for America, but America has been closed a long time ago. And a lot of us are about to be trapped under the collapse of America. And you better have your stuff ready for the worst that's on its way. On a better note, on a sprinkling note, attitude of gratitude, Brad Staggs and Daily Mojo is up next. If you're listening in the morning, and if it's in the afternoon, it's Critical Thinking with Andrew Coppins and Pat Oney. For now, you guys, take care. God bless. I'm out.